Hello again, my name is Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Epox EP-8RGA Plus. This is an nForce2 socket 462 motherboard. What is included in this package is a floppy cable, an ATA-133 cable, an I/O shield plate. You also get a connector right here which goes plugged into the motherboard. This is for the game port and the COM port. This also goes plugged into the motherboard. This is 2 extra USB 2 ports. You get some software and drivers, a manual, and the motherboard. This motherboard is based upon the NVIDIA nForce2 IGP chipset. Now let me just go over and detail some of the key features about this particular motherboard. Right here is where you install the CPU, and right here is where you install the memory. Now you can have the standard DDR 64-bit memory or the dual channel memory, the 128-bit. This board accepts both types of memory. Right here are the IDE channels, the floppy controller, and you also have a post display. This is a power on self-test, and this basically tells you any kind of errors or codes that are coming up on the motherboard. It's excellent for a diagnostic tool. You have 6 PCI slots, 1 AGP slot. Now there's 2 places to plug power into right here, and they are in the very same place. And there's also 3 fan headers. There's 2 right here and 1 right here. The PS2 ports for the keyboard and the mouse are right here. This motherboard has 4 onboard USB 2 ports, 2 right here and 2 right here. And remember, you have that extra 2 you can plug into the motherboard to give you a total of 6 USB 2 ports. Also, the parallel port is right here, the LAN port, and it has 6-channel audio. Now, this motherboard also has onboard video. The video is a GeForce 4 MX. You can have a single display or a dual display on this motherboard. As you can see, there are 2 VGA ports to allow for that dual display. Let's now have a look at some of the key features within this particular BIOS. First, I'll look at the advanced chipset features. Within here, at the very top, you've got a few different system performance settings. You can set it at optimal, aggressive, turbo, or expert. You can also adjust the front side bus frequency and the multiplier. Now, this is the multiplier, which can go all the way up to 24, and the front side bus can go all the way up to 250 megahertz. You can also adjust the memory frequency here all the way up to 200% of its original front side bus setting, or you can just leave it at auto. Now you can also in here see that there's memory timings. You can set different settings for that as well, or you can go into this manually and adjust the settings if you like. At the very bottom, you'll also see that there is some video settings for example, AGP 8x support as well as AGP fast write capability. Within the integrated peripherals part of this BIOS is where you can go to adjust your onboard USB, your onboard audio, your onboard LAN, and so on. Within the PC health status part of the BIOS is where you can go to view the different temperatures, for example, the CPU temperature, the system temperature. You can also view the different fan speeds and all of the different voltages. And you can also adjust the CPU warning temperature as well as the shutdown temperature. And finally, within the power BIOS features is where you can go to adjust the different voltages for the memory, the video, as well as the CPU and the chipset. Here at the top, you've got the CPU voltage, and that can go all the way up to 2.2 volts. The video or AGP voltage can go all the way up to 1.8 volts, as well as the memory can go all the way up to 2.9, and the chipset can go all the way up to 2 volts. So you have some great voltage control when overclocking on this motherboard. The PC Mark 2002 results are: the CPU score is 6,846, the memory score is 5,764, and the hard drive score is 1,032. The SCI Software Sandra CPU result is 8,262. The SCI Software Sandra Multimedia benchmark result is 12,195. And finally, the memory result is 2,918. The 3D Mark 03 result is 4,780. The 3D Mark 2001 second edition result is 13,527. In the Comanche 4 demo, these are the following benchmark settings: a screen resolution of 1280 by 1024, the bit depth 32. Texture compression is checked, I've disabled the VSync, and hardware shaders are checked. And the result is 48.2 frames per second. These are the following settings for Quake 3 Arena. The screen resolution is 1280 by 1024. The geometric detail is at high. Texture detail is at max. Texture quality is 32-bit, and the texture filter is trilinear. And the result is 210.3 frames per second. The Unreal Tournament 2003 benchmark results at a screen resolution of 1280 by 960. The flyby is 166, and the bot match is 66. In the XS Mark benchmark, I will be using all the default settings except for a screen resolution of 1280 by 1024 at 32-bit. And the XS Mark result is 7,146. Obviously, the way to go if you want excellent graphic performance is a separate video card. An onboard video card is something that really is not going to offer you much in the way of performance when gaming. This video card, as I mentioned, does have onboard video. It's a GeForce 4 MX. Now, I did do a couple of results. The first one is the 3D Mark 2001 second edition. The result was 5,218. Also did a result in the Unreal Tournament 2003 at a resolution of 640 by 480. The flyby was 118 and the bot match was 60. If you're in the market for a motherboard that's based upon the Socket 462, I wouldn't suggest you look any further. This has got stability, performance, and overclockability, and onboard audio, onboard video, onboard LAN, and so on. Everything you can possibly want from a motherboard. Now, there are a couple things that are missing from the board. It does not have serial ATA, and there is no RAID functionality on the board. But overall, this is definitely a kick-ass product. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds, and this has been another video review. Be sure to check back very soon. I will have a brand new one for you then. Also, pop into my website at www.3dgameman.com, and while you're there, you can go into the forums and register. Remember, registration is completely free. Until the next time, take care.